Here's Morgan. From what I understand of him, he's kind of like center but left leaning. From what I understand, he's like economically more sympathetic to left views, and then when it comes to like maybe social stuff, he's a little more conservative, but not like insane brainwash conservative. Like kind of like, I understand where you're coming from, but you're not necessarily right type of conservative. But all this to say that he had JustPearlyThings on his stream. God, brain rot. He had JustPearlyThings on his show to talk about anti-feminism things. And she thought, from what I understand, she thought she was gonna be like within friendly company. I don't think it was this video necessarily. I think it was this one. But we're gonna be watching both. So, let's go. I'm gonna turn off the music and we're gonna watch this.
Pearl Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views on modern feminism. The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate. So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane.
Okay, it's not this video, but we're gonna be watching both.
Because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Like, where's she's a special breed. She's really something. Like, what are the correlations even between any of these things? I don't really get it.
Okay, well, Pearl joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you've be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
It depends what we're talking about. But overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young men.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to remove, just from yourself, the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not? No, it's true.
Hold on. Let's get a Joe Biden fact check on this real quick. Women's suffrage movement approval. Approval. Oops. Rating. Let's see. Key facts about women's suffrage around the world. USA. Century. I can't find anything. Oh, here we go. Suffrage granted. Hey. I don't exactly know what's going on here, but it seems pretty sick, I think. But I highly doubt that women who make up 50% of the population were against their half voting. I intuitively doubt that. And if they were, I would say it's more of like a really bad reflection of how the electoral system works in America with like lobbying.
Well, at the time. Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say, but, you know, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that got to do with them having the vote?
I kind of like what Pierce is doing here, to where he's kind of just like conceding the point, and he's letting Pearl go fucking deep. He's letting her just get like really conspiratorial. I'm a fan of that.
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men...
Responsibility, like the responsibility to vote as an American citizen?
Are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of...
Okay, here we go. I got a Joe Biden fact checker. So often above 40% of people voted in favor of equal suffrage. Wait. Joe Biden fact checker has... We're gonna wait for the fact checker. We're gonna wait.
Of the hard jobs. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the draft.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well,
I'm a big fan of how she's like a men's rights activist, but can't acknowledge that maybe the systems that uphold and make it to where men are the only people, or the great majority of people who are doing these things, is maybe a bad reflection of the patriarchy that we live within. Like maybe if we had more women in power, we would see it reflected, and more women would take these traditionally masculine roles, such as in World War II, when women flocked to the factories, when women were rushing and going to get jobs and shit. Because when the men were gone, the vast majority of men, not all, but not even the vast majority, but a good amount, when a good amount of men were gone, the women said, let's pick the fuck up, let's take this responsibility, and let's take this as a chance to prove ourselves, and they prove themselves. Like, you're anti that. You're anti women picking up the slack and proving themselves to be equal to men, which they have multiple times over. They've proven this several times.
Because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean...
That's just not true, is it?
I don't think it's good for a family to have two votes.
Ava?
What? Well, I just don't really see how this works at all. I don't... What?
Your mouth seems to have dropped about...
No, do you know when it's sort of like,
I know.
It's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, you know, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
But they just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean,
allegedly? What do you mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, you know, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were.
Write.
Yes,
Fucking got him. Holy shit. Just this random ass lady. God damn. She's unironically, she's fucking woman-brained. She's unironically woman-brained. Anytime she gets a challenge from anybody who takes a dominant role within a conversation or a debate, she just goes, yes, master, yes, I agree, yes, okay, yes. Like, fuck, dude. If you're gonna be, like, retarded, at least be retarded and, like, strong about your ideas. She is the, like, definition of just a pushover. She's a pick-me, and that's really as simple as it is. She is nothing more, nothing less. She's just a pick-me who fucking sold herself out for a gram of what she believes to be internet fame.
That's incorrect. The first female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work.
I'm pretty sure women owned property before that, and I'm also pretty sure that the American suffrage movement which is what we're talking about here. We have 3 Australian people talking about the American suffrage movement. That's pretty funny. But you know, with 3 Australians here talking about shit that only one of them knows about fully, and it shows.
I'm so sorry, but that will be inherited property.
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that inherited?
No, it wasn't. It was self-made.
Yes, it was.
Self-made. Yes, it
and
was.
She never inherited land.
Yes, she did not
and
inherit
what law permitted that?
What?
What law permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in history.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, a part of your message, I've researched you.
I really like the role of just peers kind of being like, fucking just hands off and just letting them just fucking go. Just letting her own.
And hang on a minute.
Okay.
Your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
I care about
hang
women
on,
too.
I haven't made the point yet. Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. How is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers. And they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic.
True. I think this is a huge hole in her ideology. You have men being raised predominantly by women, where in the societal structure that she promotes, you have young men being raised almost solely by their mothers. Their mothers are still predominantly the majority caretaker. When the child has something wrong, it's majority of the time the mother taking care of it. And in a society where she believes that this promotes young men's freedom and men's freedom, she is creating a society which has proven day after day after day after day after day after day to do the exact opposite. To sever men from each other, to have men work and work and work and work and work and work and not be attached to their children, not have relationships with their family, with their friends. You just work because that is what the patriarchy is. And yes, there are benefits to the patriarchy. We have more societal power. We have more social power. But what the fuck is social power worth when we live in a society that the great majority of people will never be able to even socially interact with the things around them?
Like I say, be equal. So again,
I
men
think
do
that's what
all of
most
the
feminists are
well,
saying.
then okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the
Go be equal, but you can't vote or do most things or drive.
oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society. They're open.
They are! She's literally a middle schooler. She's a middle school boy that transitioned into a 25-year-old woman.
They're hiring because I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen. Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go be on the front lines of the military. And then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not. You said you were volleyball.
Wow.
You said
Damn!
you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think
But
that
I don't
can
have more
do those
strength. I don't have
jobs.
more strength than
But
the
I'm not
average
going to take your
man.
right away to
I don't
do
have
it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes.
Honestly, I think she does. I think she's stronger. I think she's stronger than me, shit. I think, physically, not emotionally, God, no. But I think she's stronger than the average man. Look at those arms. Fucking built. I mean... You're being misogynist. Yeah.
Goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be equal.
You also, but you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what.
No, marriage is marriage is a recognition by the state that two people have created a union between each other. That's all it is. It, like, of course, socially it symbolizes more, but if we're talking what marriage is, not what marriage symbolizing, marriage is the declaration of a union between two people. What marriage symbolizes is what she's saying. Well, somewhat. But these are two very different things. And I think what marriage symbolizes is harmful. I think what marriage is isn't necessarily harmful. It can be with different situations, circumstances, but that's not what marriage is at all.
That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a
Yeah, feminists who want to not be beaten by their husbands, they ruined marriage. You should wait for your husband to come home drunk every single day and beat you and your child. That sounds good to me.
50% divorce rate, and the average marriage
Why is that all
8
down to the
years.
women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
Yes, you did.
Why
Well,
feminists?
you asked why I want divorce.
You blame it on feminism. Feminism is a ideology mainly perpetuated and spread by women, but also with believers outside of the woman demographic. But you blame this on feminism, you are blaming it majority on women. Therefore, it is a safe assumption to say that you are blaming divorce solely on women, when that is just not true. Like, back before marriage was even legal, back before divorce was legal, you had men and lesser, so women, who would just one day, they would just go on a train and they would fucking just go. They would go to the next town over. They would go to the next big city. And that is a real thing that happened. Sure, it's, a few anecdotes here or there, but if maybe we had divorce, that wouldn't have had to happen. There would have been less children fucking with single parents. And even though it would have been flawed, it would have been better than just having your father hitch a train ride one day and never come back.
To be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish that first? So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
What do you mean?
Boom! That was loud. Holy shit. Like, literally everything the lady on the right says is just an own. She must have come... Pause. She must have come into this just fucking prepared. She must have been thinking about this for like a week straight. And being, how can I own this woman and make her triggered?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin. And so if you want to preserve that sanctity...
That is the face of a triggered woman right there. She is seething.
Of marriage,
I
then,
think,
I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was. But, we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
No, but I just don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think...
Hang on. Okay, if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely.
So she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but you can't...
You might not like them.
But I'm here to challenge
Isn't she
them.
exercising her...
Well, the thing is, she believes... There's nothing wrong with being a housewife. There's nothing wrong with not having a job and as a wife and having your husband come home every day and making him dinner and cleaning the house and taking care of the kid. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong with it is when you force that into society. There's nothing wrong with being a housewife. What's wrong with it is when you have this fucking like shoe on head type laser vision, I don't know, man, to where that is the only thing you believe is possible.
Right, are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, I don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality, but you guys don't, I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering
I would actually
firm
love to
hiring.
She says the same thing over and over again. I genuinely don't know how people listen to her. She just says the same thing. I think she said it 3 times now, maybe 4.
Yeah, Ava said in on
No,
an oil rig.
seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me,
but-
I'm
Doing
saying
the same
But
job
when
that
you
I'm doing right
when
now.
you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live by.
How do you know you can keep them?
I mean, I think it's a choice.
Some brave soul has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. I'm not encouraging abuse here. However, if you were to, get married to Pearl H. Davis and come home drunk every day and you know where I'm going here. But I'm not encouraging abuse. But it would be funny.
And that's the thing, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava,
She's assuming that everybody ever has kids, which is really funny.
I've got to say, it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency, so I think that if a woman is going to look after her children during divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it.
Boom. Based. We're a feminist. Based.
What I don't understand.
I'd like to
what
say,
I don't
even before the
understand.
1920s,
Oh my God, could she
women
shut the
could
fuck
speak openly. This idea that women couldn't talk.
This is why I hate white women. This is why I hate white women. Women shut up challenge. But not just her. Just her, actually. Pearl shut up challenge. I am a man. I'm telling you to shut up. You must do it.
Talk the last 500 years. There have been women
I know,
throughout
but the American
history
state
that have
education
been-
system has
that have
failed
been-
before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history.
What I need to happen is a debate against her with a man, and then every time she makes an argument, he just tells her to shut the fuck up. Every single time she speaks, shut up. Every time she says something, shut the fuck up. Every single time. I need that. Can somebody please do that? If you are watching this and you have the opportunity to speak to her, come up to her and say, shut up. Shut the fuck up. She ideologically cannot combat that.
That have read, written, and been very
If she really believes what she says, which I don't believe she fully does, she will shut the fuck up.
influential in society.
Okay.
So this idea women could never do it.
Do you know what
believe
what
it.
I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have
Are they
abortions,
fat?
you say that
Are
they
they
have
fat?
STDs.
The question is, are they fat?
God. Literally every single time. She cannot let this woman speak because she knows the longer that she lets this woman speak, the harder she gets owned.
Yes
Why-
or no?
why pass
The
that kind
average
of
American
judgment?
woman is 170 pounds.
Who cares about America? This is Australia, you dumb bitch.
Pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body positive thing, and it is complete nonsense. So actually, on that point again, there's a bit of truth in
and this
that.
is the problem. This is the problem.
How
The bit of truth he's referring to, I think he's being way too kind. But the bit of truth he's referring to is that there are certain parts of body positivity that can be toxic and harmful. If you are a person who is 90 pounds, 6'3", you shouldn't be positive about that. You're fucking on the verge of death. And the same goes for somebody who is 500 pounds and 5'4". You're on the verge of fucking death. You should not be positive about that. You should work to better yourself. But what body positivity, by and large, is saying is that it is fine. It is okay. It is, in fact, morally blank, morally gray, to just be, like, slightly overweight, or slightly underweight, or even pretty overweight, or pretty underweight, as long as it is not harmful to your health, in which most cases it is not. And if a person gets to the point where their weight is harmful for their health, whether they weigh too much or too little, yeah, that's when you go, hold on, let's rein you in a bit, let's get you to be healthy. You know, you can still be underweight, you can still be overweight, but let's get you to be healthy.
Have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive?
Well,
it's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbidly obese. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
wasn't.
I mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true. Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective.
And that makes her morally incorrect. That makes her incorrect. She is fat and she is divorced. Therefore, our argument disregarded fat.
Facts.
Okay, I'm going to have to objectively...
And she insulted me first. They always do.
I'm going to have to objectively end the debate, but it was an interesting conversation. I think we should get you two back together as a matter of urgency. Thank you very much, Pearl. Thank you, Ava. She's
so triggered. Holy shit. But anyways, we're on to video 2. This is maybe the one I think it is. Let's see.
Well,
where's the one where it's like, the one... One second. Let me see. Pearl Davis, The Jews song. I'm looking for this specific one. Here it is. Oh my god, finally. Wait, is this... Okay, yeah. Here we go.
Back to Piers Morgan Censored. Pearl Davis is the self-styled anti-feminist influencer who's creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored after all. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled...
Okay, all I've seen of this video is like the first minute. I want y'all to look.
We welcome any honestly held opinions.
Look at... She's smiling. She's off guard. She thinks she's in friendly company. You know, her and Piers have seen, not necessarily eye to eye, but Piers has seen where she's coming from in the past. But now,
this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews, which she dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later...
There's the start of it. There's the start of it. She's exhaling more. She's getting a little more squirrely.
Deleting it.
Her eyes are darting around.
Why can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right.
Okay. From earlier, Joe Biden fact checkers come in. In the 1920s, there were 8.2 million women in the U.S., 8,000 registered for women against suffragettes. But when the 19th Amendment was passed, over 8 million women voted. So the overwhelming majority were pro-women voting, although quiet about it. The reason they were quiet about it is because it's the normal position to have. So there we go. We got the Joe Biden fact checkers. There is very good evidence behind this. There's a lot of graphs I'm seeing, a lot of text I'm seeing, and you know, it's sourced pretty well. We got history.com. We got shit like that. We got a .gov. So it's sourced pretty well. There we go, Joe Biden fact checkers.
but I can't even listen to the convo.
Well, Pearl joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song, and I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Oh shit! I forgot about this part. it's like a parent. He's like a parent. I'm just like, you think you're funny? Oh my god.
Find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it. Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media if you finished.
No, it wasn't. It was about I like Hitler. I think he was good. That
The song. It was more about, like, you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right.
Yeah, because Hitler wasn't a good guy. If you talk about Hitler being like, if you were like, maybe Hitler was like morally gray. Yeah, you're gonna get fucking canceled because it is so morally easy. It is so incredibly morally easy to say that Hitler bad. That even fucking Stalin said it. Stalin, who was systematically not as bad as Hitler, but still pretty fucking bad. Even Stalin was able to say Hitler is bad. That is how fucking easy it is to say Hitler is bad. And that is how correct it is to say Hitler is bad.
I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of.
You know, I'm kind of neutral about Hitler. You know, he did some good things. His vegetarianism. He liked animals. I'm kind of neutral on Hitler.
Just like tongue in cheek. I didn't really expect it to get that crazy. It wasn't dedicated to anyone. I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on the Jews, which he clearly took to be something which was, mocking Jewish people. Talking about, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like...
Because Hitler is objectively bad. If you look at... Okay, before Hitler, what people did is they said, man, this is worse than the Pharaoh. Because there was a lot of tyranny in Egypt or whatever. I forget the exact reason. But what people did is it said, man, this is worse than the Pharaoh, or man, this is worse than some other examples. I know there was multiple. Like they would compare evil people to gods or demons or the Pharaoh, but then after, in a post-Hitler world, they said, man, fuck you, Hitler. They said Hitler is so terrible, so they started comparing everything bad to Hitler. That is how terrible he was.
What about the more conspiracy theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably?
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. Like, people think I'm part of the...
Yeah, especially that conspiracy theory that says the Holocaust isn't real and didn't happen.
CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online. And, I'm not for, like, silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't, like, I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more... I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far, so.
Yeah, we shouldn't ban Hitler apologists off of social media. God, dude. Fuck.
I think it should be illegal to ban anybody.
Sorry, not Hitler apologists, Hitler supporters.
Off of social media unless they're inciting violence. That was.
Like your friend? Like your friend Nick Fuentes? Like he does? Like he does? Like your friend Nick Fuentes? Social media is run by private companies. Private companies have the right to instill whatever terms of service and whatever rules they want. If a private company wants you off of their platform, Legally, they can do that. There is no censoring going on. There's no silencing going on. If you hate it so much, you can move to fucking True Social and Gab and all that shit. But what you want, because you are fucking stupid, is you want to have your ideas be berated on by liberals and feminists. You want your ideas to be berated on because you want your fan base to be galvanized. You want your fan base to be evangelicalized, or whatever it's called. You want that. Evangelized. You want your fan base to be evangelized. And how you do this is you set up an inflammatory statement that you believe, but it's a hot take, even within your own fan base. And then what happens is it gets berated. It gets berated by everyone who is normal. And your fan base gets evangelized by the backlash, and they come to support you. It is a strategy, and it's working, and she is a Nazi.
The point of the song, I'm not really... It was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know, because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't know.
Uh-huh. Sure, man.
You know the ones that Nick Fuentes...
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick. I was thinking of Ye, to be honest. I don't know why they put that Nick was the inspiration for that song. I was thinking of Ye.
Uh-huh. Sure, man. Sure. God damn, bro. Dumb bitch.
You are aware of the big backlash to this and the deep upset from the Jewish community.
I certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like...
Yeah, I had no clue that Jewish people would hate my Hitler apologia. I had no clue. I could have never seen that one coming.
Article. I was like, golly.
Right, but are you sorry?
Crazy. You know, I think that...
So, no, she's not. When people like this are confronted with yes or no questions, and they say, well, what they mean to say is no. Fuck. Oh, shit. Accidentally. Okay.
My whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking...
Amazing question, Dodge.
One way or the other about the issues. My question is, why are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denials to millions of people? You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right? That's a big audience of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes and people like that.
Why did you cut off the end of the song? I said, but we can't even have the conversation.
What is the conversation you want to have?
Without being canceled by the left and the right.
But what
the point is any speech.
If you are so far fucking gone to where you're getting canceled by the left and the right, holy shit. Like, there's a difference between being a Republican who is Nazi adjacent, which they are, all of them are, and just being a Nazi. And Pearl Davis is a Nazi. She's not Nazi adjacent like the modern Republican Party is, like Marjorie Taylor Greene's a Nazi. But you know, the majority. She's not Nazi adjacent, she just is a Nazi.
I think
it's not any speech. It's not any speech. What is the conversation about Hitler and conspiracy theories and the Holocaust that you want to have?
I don't want to have any conversation. My lane is feminism. That's what
you're singing about Adolf Hitler.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but you are singing about Hitler.
Okay.
So you do want to.
The great part is that the whole time last time she was talking, it was literally just talking over that woman. And then now that she is being confronted, she's, can I talk? Can I finish my fucking point? No, you can't, dumb bitch.
To have that conversation.
I want anybody that wants to speak on social media to be able to speak about what they want to talk about,
including Holocaust
without getting banned. Whatever they want to talk about,
including Holocaust denial.
If they want to talk about that, as long as they're not inciting violence, I think people.
Of course, they're inciting violence. They're inciting a hatred of Jewish people.
Social media is the new town square, right? You used to be able to go and say your opinion.
No, it's not. It's social media.
In the town square.
town squares aren't owned by private companies, although they are usually home to private companies. They usually aren't owned by them. They're usually owned by the city, and private companies are contracted out to put their business there to make it more popular, yada yada yada, you know. But to say that social media, which is a privately owned thing, is equivalent to a town square where people meet in public in real life is fucking stupid. It's stupid. And it's just clear that she gets that point from Elon Musk, and she hasn't thought about it herself.
Now we have corporations censoring what can and cannot be said. And I think that's wrong. I think that should be illegal.
Well, let me bring in Brooke.
I don't, because private companies have the right to do what they will.
Been listening to this. Brooke, I don't think Pearl quite understands why the wording of this song, which she deleted, to be clear, so obviously realised this had not played out maybe the way she hoped. The offence it's caused to the Jewish community. Why was it so offensive?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on and for highlighting this issue. Not necessarily highlighting Pearl, but highlighting the issue.
Damn!
That what you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled. The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And you know, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing, Pearl will disappear. She will disappear like many others before her, because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you can't.
I like how that now that she like is not able to challenge what this woman is saying, she's just completely silent and she has to like cope laugh. The second he really brought the Jew out. But the second that she's being challenged by a person who she knows for a fact knows more than her, she just crashes. It's beautiful.
You know you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But I want to make one more point. I think it's so important, especially on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book about the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are. She thinks women shouldn't vote, women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women shouldn't be able to work.
She's literally, oh my God, fuck.
She says these
I didn't say
crazy
that.
things
Now you're
about
putting words in my
Hitler.
mouth.
But there's
Now you're
no
putting words
rational.
Yeah, I never said this thing that I agreed with. I never said that.
No, please don't interrupt. There's no rational
Yes. Oh my God.
argument with someone like this. And this is a mistake that my community makes, the Jewish community, very often, that they think they can bring facts to the table, that they can debate somebody like Pearl, and it's, you know, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get somewhere only by shedding the light on this type of bigotry to expose someone like her.
Let me
just the crazy person that she is.
All right, bro. Let me go back to Pearl. Pearl, let me just offer you some advice, right? Because I don't think you're stupid. And in the two appearances you've made previously,
I disagree. I think she's a retarded person.
On this program, I thought it was interesting. It was controversial in some ways, but actually a lot of people would have agreed with some of the things you were saying. There's no question about that. But you seem to know where the line was. Someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense. Kanye's been wiped out by what he did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am absolutely in support of the concept of free speech, right? But you can't go around telling Jewish people the Holocaust didn't happen as
Ooh,
Fuentes.
that's
And people are
not-
like, Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So
But you
you're
don't seem
bringing
to-
me
you
up.
don't-
So
what-
it's like
no, but when you
I'm-
when you sing a song,
right.
and you talk about
Who
Hitler,
determines what the line is, Pierce?
Well, I'm asking
Who
you.
determines? Do you get
I'm
to
asking
determine
you,
it?
No, I'm
Does
asking.
she get to determine
I'm asking
it?
you
Who
to.
gets to determine
I'm
what the
asking
line
you
is?
to work out in your head.
I'm saying the
you're not a
line-
stupid person.
the
When you
line-
say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. Right? When you talk about the more conspiracy theories about him I hear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that and releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
All right. I think we've seen all we got to see here. JustPearlyThings is a Nazi. She's incredibly boring. She is the poster child for Nazism, I would say. She's incredibly stupid. She doesn't know what she's saying. The second that she gets challenged on anything that she says, she walks it back or just yells over the other person. It's really incredibly just draining to watch. I don't really understand how people watch her content, like, sincerely.